Okay, so today we're going to talk about something called the slope formula. All right, we've already discussed where we see slope around us. And today we're going to learn how to find the slope given 2 points on a line. Okay, before we do that, how many almonds are in this container here? We'll pause here. All right, so how do I find the slope if I don't have a graph? So before we do that, I want to talk about a couple of different things. First of all, what is an ordered pair again? So if we look at this graph right here, remember an ordered pair is just a couple of coordinates, x first and then y. So in this particular case, this purple line right here, or purple dot, is 2, 3. That just represents a point on the graph. Okay, and then another thing I wanted to talk about was how do we subtract integers? So let's say I have 9 minus -3. So if you recall, one of the ways you can do this is really the same as 9 plus 3. So some people just say, like, you can just write it like, put little plus signs like this, and this is 12. So you can confirm that by using your graphing calculator. So going 9 minus -2. 9 minus -3 was what it was, and we got 12. Okay. All right, so that confirms just a quick reminder about how to subtract integers. Okay. We talked about slope is rise over run. Remember, M represents slope, vertical change over horizontal change. And we could get 4 outcomes, really. Positive slope, a negative slope, a 0, and undefined. Remember, if you get 0, that's a horizontal line. And if you're using the numbers zeros in the numerator, there you can see that on the top. And if you have a vertical line, the slope is undefined. If you're using the numbers there, rise over run, zeros on the bottom. If you try to do that, you'll get an error message. That's kind of an indicator that that's undefined. Okay, so this is what we did. We found rise over run. So I have 2 points here. And if I look at the vertical change there, it's 7 units up, so it's +7. And then 4 units to the right, so that's +4. You get 7 over 4. Try to reduce it, and it is reduced, so 7/4. Well, is there another way to do this? If I did not have this graph, and all I was told was that I had 2 points, and those 2 points were, this is the point 2, 5, and this is the point -2, -2. Okay, how could I get there? Well, one of the things that you can do is if I'm saying rise, that's up and down, right? From this level to this level, how far is that? Well, one of the things we can do here is just subtract the y's to get us there. So 5 minus -2. And another thing for the run would be side to side. So that's this way. And if I don't have a graph, I could say, all right, well, I could subtract that distance, -2 minus, or +2 minus -2. Like that. And that would give us our run. So, well, what does this give us? Remember, this then would be 7 and 4. And so these are the same. Okay, and notice this would be another way to do that. So this is actually, we've just kind of learned about the slope formula. Okay, so this works for any 2 points. If you are given 2 points, you'll notice here 2 points here and here. And it says x1 and y1. We can use this formula here to find the slope. So x1, y1, x2, y2. What do those 1s and 2s mean? It just means x from the first point and y from the first point, and then these are the x from the second point and y from the second point. Okay? So then you can rise is up and down, so that's subtract your y's. Run is side to side, so subtract your x's, and that'll give you your run. So that's really what the slope formula is and how it works. One thing to remember, you always need to simplify your answer. Okay, so let's do this. All right, so what I want you to do right now is open up your assignment, go into Schoology, find the slope formula assignment, open that up, and it looks like this, and we'll pause here. Okay, so now that you've gotten to open up, here's our formula. And on number 1, I wrote above that first point, I wrote x1 comma y1, and then above the second point, I wrote x2 comma y2. You don't have to do that, but it might help for this first one, just to kind of get used to what's going on. So I did that just so now I can talk about what's going on. Now we need to use this formula right here to find the slope, and then make sure it's reduced. So we're going to do that. y2, in this case, y2 is 3. So we're going to put 3 minus, now y1 is 1. So 3 minus 1. Okay. And then x2 is 4. Okay. And then x1 is 1. So 4 minus 1. Remember, this is always a minus in between. Okay. All right, so now we just simplify that, and we get 3 minus 1 on the top. You need to do that is 2. And then 4 minus 1 on the bottom is 3. Okay, now we're going to type this into our calculator to make sure and see if it's reduced. So we're going to go 2 divided by 3, math. Okay, press enter a couple times, we get 2/3. Okay, so m equals 2/3, that's reduced, and this is my answer. Okay, there we go, we just did the first one. All right, now let's try a couple other ones. Now it gets a little trickier when you've got negatives in there, so that's what we're going to kind of look at now. How do we deal with some of those? So here we go. All right, so y2, okay, so y2 is going to be this one right here, right? The y value from the second point. So that's -2 minus, always put that minus, and then y1, 4, over, okay, x2, which is x from the second point, 10, minus -2. So now I already have the minus there, but that's -2, so I've got to put that -2 there as well. That's not a very good negative sign. Let's rewrite that. -2. Okay, so this is how it's set up. Now we want to figure out what each of these numbers are first. So if you're not sure, you can always use your calculator. So we're going to do -2 minus 4. -2 minus 4. Just press enter. We get -6. Okay, now we're going to do the bottom here. This is 10 minus -2. Now again, minus and negative, anytime those are right next to each other, you can put 2 pluses there. So this should be 12, but if you're not sure, you can always use your calculator. So let's do that. 10 minus -2. 12. Okay, so I'm going to write 12 here. Now, I want to make sure it's simplified, so I'm always going to do this next step. And don't forget this. You want to go -6 divided by 12, -6 divided by 12, math, press enter a couple times. I get -1/2, so I can reduce this. -1/2. Okay, so what did I just do? y2 minus y1, write that, get your answer, subtract it, write it up top. Then do the bottom, x2 minus x1, get your answer, write it on the bottom. And then go ahead and try to reduce that and divide, okay? So here's my answer. M equals -1/2. All right. Let's go to our next one here. Zoom in a little bit here. Okay, so y2, so y2 is 9 minus y1, also 9, over x2, 3 minus x1, 5. Okay, so here, what do we get? 9 minus 9, 0. 3 minus 5 is -2. Okay, again, if you're not sure, type it into your calculator. Now 0, this is not my answer. Remember, always make sure to see if it's reduced, so we're going to do that. 0 divided by -2, math, press enter a couple times, we get 0. Okay, so this, my slope is 0, so this actually means, remember, that this is a flat line or a horizontal line. Okay, so this line right here, with these 2 points, would look like this one right here, be a horizontal line, okay? All right, so hopefully that's starting to make some sense. Let's do one more here, and then we're gonna turn you loose. All right, number 4. Number 4 says this, and we're gonna do, once again, let's find a different color. Okay, so now y2 in this case would be 5 minus y1, 8, over x2 is -7 minus -7. Okay, so on the top, again, if you're not sure, go to your calculator and just do that. 5 minus 8, -3, right? Okay, so I have -3 over, now this is -7 minus -7. So -7 minus -7 is 0, okay? Now, you always want to make sure that that's reduced, so I'm going to go -3 divided by 0. -3 divided by 0, math, enter a couple times. Now notice this is the one where you get divided by 0. That's when you get that error message. Remember, this means you're not going to write error. This is an undefined slope. So what that means, remember, is it's this kind of line. This is straight up and down vertical line. Okay, so undefined, this is my slope. That's what you got to write. Don't leave it like this. Okay, all right, that is it. Okay, go ahead and continue on this. Before you do so, let's take a look. Again, here are your 4 kinds of slope. And if you get 0 or undefined, just make sure you always simplify it to one of those 2 if you're working with numbers there. Okay, and then in your assignment book, write the slope formula worksheet for today. And then, again, put it in your planner. Looks like this. Good luck. Hope this makes sense. See you later. Bye.